Most sports coaches have no idea how to actually grow their coaching business online. Should I have a $50 program? Should I have a set of drills? Should I do Zoom lessons? There are a bunch of questions that swirl around in their minds and it holds them back from ever getting started. So if that's you, in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the online mentorship model, what we've been able to implement with over 300 sports coaches across over a dozen different sports. And I'm gonna show you the three main things of what goes into the online mentorship model and how you can do it as well in your business. So if this is your first time here, my name is Nick. I run an online consulting company helping sports coaches coach more athletes online so that way they can have a bigger impact, make more money, and create the business and life that they want. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So there are really three components that go into the online mentorship model, okay? And the reason why I call it the online mentorship model is because most people, when they think about online coaching, they are thinking about selling like a PDF or a pack of drills or, just some like vault of exercises. And the reason why that doesn't work is because athletes that are actually serious and committed, what do they want? They want custom help. If you've tried to go to group sessions before and you've gotten pushback, everybody wants the one-on-one. That's why. Everybody wants custom help. Everybody wants to know, how does this apply to me, okay? So the first thing we want to think about is like, who can we actually help in an online setting? And number one, they must be committed, okay? And I don't mean like committed to a college, okay? I don't mean committed to a college, but they must be committed to their actual development as an athlete. Because if they're not, what are the odds that they're gonna seek more help than whatever they're getting in person or whatever they're doing with their team, right? A lot of people will be like, oh, online coaching isn't gonna work for me. It's like, yo, you're probably going after the wrong people. And if you're a serious coach that actually wants to make a real impact in serious athletes' lives, then you need to make sure that number one, they're committed, okay? Number two, the best age range that I've seen this to work for is like 14 to 22 plus. Obviously, like there are Olympic athletes that are 35 years old that have online coaches. I'm just saying for the model that I typically teach, this is the age range that I've seen work best. The reason why is because an online coaching program takes a lot of autonomy for the athlete, right? It takes a pretty serious, committed, dedicated individual who is probably in high school. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't do it with younger athletes. It just means that it's going to be easier when you're working with somebody who's super committed, that's at least 14 to 22, okay? The third thing is they're probably already training, okay? They're probably already training. They're probably already doing something on their own and they're looking for that next thing. They're looking for that next edge, right? If you're watching this right now and you had maybe like a pretty successful career in your own sport, like think about when you were 15 years old. Right? How committed were you? I look back to when I was 15 years old and I couldn't get enough info. I was training all the time. I was just like so obsessed with it. And I just needed somebody who had been to the level that I had been to help me and help me get out of my own way. Just like what I do inside of my coaching program, Remote Training University, where we help sports coaches actually grow their online coaching businesses. So like if you want to check that out and like work with me directly, you can check out the link in the description. But point being is you want to get somebody who's already training and who ideally is like a younger version of you if you were actually a good athlete and a good coach. Now, if you weren't actually a good athlete, that's okay, right? I've worked with plenty of coaches who weren't, top tier Division I professional all-star studs, right? But it's the mindset, it's the mentality, it's how committed they are to actually training. Are they doing it already, right? And usually this type of person is going to want a bigger outcome, okay? We don't always want to go after people who are like in super terrible situations, who are victims. We want to go after people who are trying to make the next jump, trying to get to the next level, and they just need somebody to give them the roadmap, right? From there, we need to have a definitive time frame on the offer, okay? So once we have the athlete dialed in of who we specifically want to go after, then We want to have a definitive time frame on the offer. See, most sports coaches right now, they charge per session, or maybe they do packages. So like you might sell a pack of 10 where it's like $100 a lesson, but if they buy a pack of 10, it's $800. Like, okay, great, you're getting $800 up front, but like, when are they redeeming those? Are they doing it on a specific time? No. So like somebody buys a 10 pack, they don't come in for 6 months and then boom, now they just come in, they pop in and out. You're commoditizing yourself by doing that. You need to have a definitive time frame, right? A definitive time frame. The reason why the definitive time frame works so much is because of this. It also needs to be outcome based. Outcome based, right? So this is going to attract the more committed types of athletes, right? This is if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that we need to go after, like I need to star and circle this a billion times. You need to go after a committed athlete because a committed athlete is going to want a specific outcome, right? And if you can tell them, I'm gonna help you get to this specific outcome in this specific time frame, and they're truly serious about it, you can charge a premium price. And we'll get into what actually comes with the program because a lot of people are sitting here thinking like, oh, I thought online coaching was Zoom lessons. I thought it was me selling my time. Time does not equal value, okay? Time does not equal value. Think about this. If I just gave you a pill, I flipped you a pill, said swallow it, you'll make $20,000 a month coaching athletes online with only your dream athletes. You'd be like, oh my God, how much, right? You wouldn't be upset that it took me 1 second to flip you the pill, right? You would pay any sum of money for that. Like anything you could get your hands on because of how valuable it is. It doesn't matter how much time it takes me to deliver it. It matters what the outcome means to you, okay? And so a lot of people get this outcome-based thing wrong. They think, they think like, oh, I need to promise a specific amount of speed improvement or strength improvement or something like that. It's like not necessarily, right? You need to think bigger. Like what is the actual dream that this athlete wants? This is like the thinking that needs to go on, okay? So we need to have a definitive time frame that is outcome based with a premium price, $1,000 to $3,000, right? 3 to 6 months for $1,000 to $3,000 to help them get a specific result. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want my business to be volatile. It's like, bro, just sell them a recurring subscription on the back end to continue to work with them to help them get the next outcome, right? To help them solve the next problem, because the nature of problem solving is that when one problem is solved, another problem is revealed. And so all you're gonna do is continue to identify problems and solve problems for money. That's business. You're welcome. Now, when it comes to delivery, the number one most important thing is to have a good onboarding process, okay? And so in the onboarding process, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have them fill out a specific form with what they're struggling with, their goals. They're gonna give you video of what specific thing that you wanna see from them. So that way, number one, you can anchor where they're starting at from the beginning, and also you can create a program, right? A custom program for that person specifically. Now, so many people are like, oh, I need to build out my entire program. No, you're thinking about it entirely wrong. It's not, you're gonna have one big program that you just like sell one time and here it is. That's not a business, okay? Whoever sold you on that idea is wrong. I've worked with over 300 coaches, okay? Who knows what they're doing? For sure me, and I'm not trying to be like cocky when I say that, right? I just know that this is what works because I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And anytime somebody tries anything that's off this framework, they come back to me, they're like, hey Nick, sorry, like I tried this other thing, it didn't really work. I'm like, duh, told you, because we know this works, okay? So you wanna give them a custom program, each individual. And over time, you will create a bank of exercises and templates and things like that that you can use as a baseline and then tweak to the individual, but it's always going to be custom because we are a mentor, right? Then we're gonna have a communication cadence. Okay, and what that communication cadence actually means is that we're going to set a definitive day of the week that we're going to reach out for them. or we're gonna reach out to them, okay? So like every Tuesday and every Friday, we're gonna reach out to our athletes, right? Every Tuesday, every Friday, hey, how's it going? Give me a quick update. And if you're doing it correctly, you're gonna have a weekly check-in form. Okay, a weekly check-in form that is required. It's required as a part of your program. And if you want to spice up the offer a little bit, you can make a guarantee conditional on the fact that they fill out every single one of their weekly check-in forms, which means they have to do the program, right? That's how you're going to hold them accountable. And inside these online coaching softwares, you can see if the athletes are actually completing their work, right? Then from there, we're going to have video analysis or video breakdown or film study or whatever you call it, right? I call it video analysis. But for example, every single Friday inside your weekly check-in form it's due is a video on Monday. I will send you over the feedback of that specific video, okay? Or the next day or however soon or tight you want to do it, right? This is your own program. This is the framework that I'm trying to give you so that way you can implement it on your own. Right? So we're texting them, we're doing weekly check-ins, we're doing video analysis, you can do calls too. And then what I really like as well, and this is my favorite, so if you stayed into the end, you got some sauce, okay? It's the community, okay? People buy the outcome, they stay for the community. They buy the outcome, they stay for the community. Remember that. And then that is how you can sell them the recurring on the back end, okay? So if this seems like something you would want help with and actually building this out for you, right, then you can check out the link in the description. I run a coaching program that helps sports coaches actually grow their coaching businesses online, okay? But if you just want to take everything that I talked about in this video, that's 100% cool too. Doesn't really matter to me. My goal of this video is to provide you as much value as possible. But this is the online mentorship model. We need to make sure that we are going after the right types of athletes, right? We need to make sure that we have a really good offer, and we need to make sure that our program is actually good, is actually going to get athletes results, right? None of this, PDF, link in bio, $27 program. That doesn't help anybody. That's not gonna help anybody get any sort of transformation or take a step forward in their career. You're a good coach, you're better than that. Stop seeking the easy money, do the hard work, actually help your athletes get results, put yourself out there and watch your life change. Anyway, hope you guys got a ton of value out of this video. Catch you in the next one.